one of our, you know, in those days we would have wonderful travel teachers come through. Some would speak at universities, some would be even the hands of the cause, some would just be renowned teachers. And when the hands of the cause would come through town, they would always have some directive for us. Well, in this particular instance, Dr. Bahá'í came. And our assembly, we were the oldest on our assembly. It was a young assembly, young believers, young married people. And Dr. Bahá'í said, gave two instructions. One was that now is the time to make Baha'i families, and that we should mention the faith. So when our assembly met after this meeting with Dr. Bahá'í, we discussed what his directions were, and we united in saying that we must carry literature and we must mention the faith. Now, for some of us, this was very hard, because we're in the Baptist belt, the Bible belt, and the idea of carrying literature and mentioning the faith struck as a just resounding in all the stuff that we disliked about being so very aggressive about one's religion. But we had agreed. The assembly had voted on this, and so there we were carrying literature. This particular morning was a Saturday morning. I was teaching school at that time, so Saturday morning was a morning of errands. And I am at my eye, ear, nose, and throat doctor in a very small office. And we are all sitting shoulder to shoulder, waiting to be called into the doctor for our examinations or whatever. Sitting next to me was a relatively middle-aged woman with her daughter, who was probably in her 20s. This daughter, I remembered, wore a black polka dot organdy blouse. And I was sitting in this office, and I knew that I had made this vow to mention the name Baha'i, and that I had literature. But I could not bring myself to do this. The room was small. I knew that if I said the word Baha'i, everybody in the room would hear me, and I could not get the words out of my mouth. As I say, this mother and daughter were sitting next to me. I was so thankful when they called my name. Went in for my examination, etc., etc., then went on to Johnny Johnson Tire Company for my next stop on getting these Saturday morning errands done. Now, at this tire company, there was a huge waiting room with two full-size green leather couches. While I was sitting there waiting for my car to have whatever it needed to have done, obviously tires, while I was sitting there, and no one, incidentally, was in this waiting room, I'm sitting there and I look up, and in walks this mother and her daughter in this polka dot blouse. They sit down in the opposite couch, and I am rolling my eyes thinking, look, now I have no excuse, and no one's here, and I cannot mention faith. I was embarrassed. I was sad. I was so happy when they called that my car was ready. I almost ran out of the place, having not mentioned the name Baha'i. Got in my car, ran to the other end of the city on the west side, went in to leave my glasses, have them repaired, and I'm sitting in this large place waiting for my glasses to be fixed. And I swear to you, dear friends, this mother and daughter, that black and white polka dot blouse, walked in to Dr. Luck's optometrist shop. I didn't wait for my glasses. I got up, ran out, drove home on the freeway, and in the car, I was thinking, how could God do this to me? How could he do this to me? I am just the worst. I couldn't do it. And I was really upset that the Divine Concourse was doing this to me. Now, it was months later, I know, 2 months, 3 months later, that I was talking to my Farah, my Persian connection. And this is the first time I could verbalize this sin. So I told her the story, and when I'd finished, she looked at me and she said, "Oh, Nancy, doesn't Bahá'u'lláh have a sense of humor?" Oh, the weight of the world was taken off my shoulders, and we both had a good laugh. Then at the next feast, I had the courage to tell the community. Well, the community was aghast. And we're not probably as forgiving as Pharaoh was. But anyway, once again, it shows you the dear patience and love and mercy of Baha'u'lláh and the Divine Concourse.